I've seen the blood, held it close to my face, smeared in tears, smelled the hot anger and helpless handcuffed hands. They were just puffed chests, bodies the only weapon left against Judgment Day, this old school standoff that leaves men, boys, women, little girls as still as the moments of silence to follow them if they are worthy enough, and who deems them worthy enough? You? Welcome to #WhyItLitChat. I'm Sahara with the St. Louis Public Library, and in this chat, we typically talk about fiction and nonfiction young adult novels, as well as juvenile fiction titles for tweens. We also talk about graphic novels and mangas, so let's get into it. It's #BlackHisTory. See what I did there? So for Black History Month, we are talking about his story. So we have the young adult fiction title called The Awakening of Malcolm X. This is by Ilyasah, Shabazz, and by Tiffany G. Jackson. This was published by Farrar Straus Griot. Now this book is amazing. The third daughter of Malcolm X has helped write a fictional world with real events with Tiffany D. Jackson. I mean, it is kind of sad though, because it's about Malcolm Little, who's in prison, and, he's struggling with that. And then he has his awakening when he discovers the prison library, which I fully support. And then he goes from there and becomes Malcolm X. Whew. So we're going to start with the first part of this book, where his sister is coming to visit him. Ella watches my every move, studying me. She was the first to visit, though I told her to stay home. I didn't want anyone seeing me in this dump, but Ella had never been good at taking orders. The visitor center is much like the mess hall, but a little nicer, if that's possible. Long wooden tables in rows of 3 and high barred windows. Visitors sit on one side, prisoners on the other. Hours vary day by day, and sometimes folks travel half a day or more to see their loved ones, only for the warden to shut down visits for the week. So families make the long trek for nothing. And guards canvass the perimeter of the room, gripping their holsters, slapping batons into their palms, exerting a false superiority. Wonder if she can smell it, if the funk hovering around us like a fog. Do I smell of it? Will she tell my brothers and sisters that I have hit rock bottom and reek of desperation? Ella shakes her head and starts talking, telling me all the gossip of the Hill, which isn't much of anything I'm interested in. I don't want to hear how her uppity friend's progressing. I want to know what jive is happening in Roxbury. What's the latest tune everyone is hopping to? What's happening in Harlem? What number hit? What's going on in the real world? But how can I ask her about what she's never tasted? Whew. It's such a good book, y'all. I definitely recommend it. You know what time it is. It's time for Shelve It or Read It. #BlackHisTory edition. So up first, I have Still I Rise, which is by Roland Owen Laird. And this is a graphic novel, which is about the history of African Americans. And I would read it. It's good to know your history. You got to know where you've been to know where you're going. So yes, I would read it. And the next one is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. Now, this one is a young adult fiction title, and this is kind of historical too, because it is set in the 90s, and it's about this Black kid who's a boy, and he's trying to struggle and figure out how not to get arrested, how not to die, that whole thing. So I would read it because it's by Angie Thomas, and the struggle is real. Speaking of the struggle, there is The Beautiful Struggle by Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I would read it. It's a nonfiction YA title that is a memoir, and it's just about him growing up in Baltimore, how his family has shaped him into the activist who he is today, and more focused on his teen years. So yeah, I would read it because I was raised in Baltimore, and I just love it all together. So this has become a read it list. But I hope you enjoy. Thank Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's book, give it a thumbs up. Also, head over to slpo.org to register for those Black History Month events that we are having all month long with the theme of Black family. All right. So, the next one available for teens is on February 27th. It's called The Songs of the Civil Rights Movement, and it is happening from 2 to 3 p.m. So, make sure you check that out. Register for it. Okay. I know I would like to. And you can see what's happening. I want to thank all the authors of today's books, especially Ilyasah, Shabazz, and Tiffany D. Jackson for this amazing novel, and Farah Straw Griot Publishing for another amazing novel. All right, I look forward to seeing y'all next Friday at noon. Peace.